welcome to the Red Bull Wololo round 3. This is the Mista versus GMZ. So this is something, or maybe GMZ, depends where he's from. So this is something that I wanted to do for a while, is look at something from the point of view of the player. So the Mista is actually playing now, and GMZ or GMZ was the guy that just knocked me out. So I got knocked out in the second round. He banned Isis, and Isis was my best god. So that was a bit of a struggle. But what I want to do is not watch this game as a cast like a lot of people do, but I want to look at this from the point of view of the Mista, because the Mista has been noted as one of the best players by the Council of Beta Testers, and look at just stuff like this, just little things that make the Mista obviously the best. So this is what we want to look at now. So he's playing Isis, which is my favorite god, and he's doing a little build here where it's a little bit different to how I do it, and I think it's much better because he used the pharaoh to empower the villagers, the monument to the villagers, sorry, which means that he gets that out quicker. He's also he is going for pickaxe before he gets a lot of villagers on gold, so it just makes everything a lot more efficient. He's also not building monuments, which is a choice. I mean, obviously monuments are insanely strong, but they do only cost 5 gold as Isis. But the issue is obviously if you're building loads of them, then that is gold that could be spent on an early temple or an early flood of the Nile. So what I do is get out 2 or 3 of the obelisks. I always call them monuments of the obelisks, and then get flood of the Nile. Flood of the Nile. I can barely speak. But obviously he's going to get it quicker because he doesn't need to get those obelisks out. I assume he'll start building them after the temple, but we're going to have to see what is some of the relics. Osberg wagon. So this is cheaper and faster caravans. Probably not the map for this, because this map is Gold Rush. So in the middle of the map, if we can just go to everything. So this will have loads of gold on it. I guess I can put revealed. This is where all of the gold is. So Isis or Egyptians are so good at this because they can drop down an early Migdal with a fast heroic right on the gold mine, and it's all a good time. Obviously, we want to look at it from the Mista's perspective. The opponent is playing Kronos, so when he did the picks and bans versus me, he got Kronos, Aranos, and Gaia straight away, and then I was like, oh, maybe there's a meta that I don't really know about, because there's been a special patch before this Red Bull tournament, and Atlanteans have been buffed like crazy. They weren't even that bad. Like, they were obviously bottom tier, but I think it's because they were one of the hardest civilizations to play, which is weird because considering the originals where they are the easiest to play, especially Aranos. But the Mista is having a scout around. So this is when, now he's dropped his temple. He's dropped his flood of why can I not say that? Flood of the Nile. He is now going to start obelisks. So this is maybe something that we could take away, at least I could take away from my games. Because he's done a pretty good job scouting. It just means that you need to be really on top of the priest because his line of sight is awful. So he's going through Anubis and he's getting another priest. So this could mean that he's trying to get more scouting done, or it could mean that he wants to do some kind of aggro rush with the priest. But we'll have to see about that. He's also pre-queued husbandry, because there is quite a lot of pigs on this map from what I remember, because I played this map earlier as well. The opponent, GMZ, has gone through Prometheus, and what he did against me is he did a bit of an early rush with the Prometheans and then went back and boomed up. So we'll have to see what he's doing. So yeah, he's just getting more scouting done. I think this is a really good idea. Definitely want to steal this. Now, I wonder what he's going to do after this, whether he's going to go for some kind of fast heroic or maybe a classical fight. He's got a lot on wood, actually, but that might just be to get his upgrades. He's getting Hand of the Pharaohs. He must have seen either some aggression or a relic that he likes. Obviously, Osberg wagon, like we said, not the best on this map. But these obelisks down the side are a really good shout. I definitely like that. So Anubite is out, assuming that's going to do a bit of raiding. Is he getting a second one? Yeah, he's getting a second one and then the upgrade for them. So he's just doing a bit of aggression. Oh, into a classical fight. Okay. I mean, it kind of does make sense against Atlanteans to do something like that, rather than a fast heroic. Or maybe he's just doing, like, a bit of a barracks for safety. Maybe he'll get out a couple of spearmen or something, or maybe just there, just in case he needs the axemen to defend the Mamillo raids or something like that. There's obelisk all over the shop, which we like. I think that's definitely the way to do it. Is this when you get the gold in? Now, the only problem with Anubites and the early myth units against... Actually, no, he went for Prometheus, sorry. When I played against Aranos, the issue is they have the Caladria to slow down your guys, but Kronos doesn't have that, so completely ignore me. And then, yeah, we get the obelisks right up on the scouting action as well. The reason I wanted to look at the Mista's games is because he is the favourite to win, but also, I mean, he's just such a strong player, and I think he's going to be the guy that you can definitely learn from. So Anubite's coming to get this, because obviously he's got all of the scouting info. There is a hero Mamilo there, but there's only one, so you could probably be able to jump past him. But what is the speed difference? So the Anubites are only slightly quicker, because a lot of the heroes got buffed for Atlanteans. But this, he can basically see everything. It's like having omniscience. So that's it. He's getting the axeman out for the hero Mamilo, and we'll see how this fight goes. So just he wants to target down the hero, because once the hero's down, his Anubites will beat the Prometheans. A bit of tricky micro that the opponent wanted to do, but not so good. And down he goes. Anubites are just going to wreck everything. Look at that, straight away jump. I was going to quickly pause that. I want to turn down my scroll speed, because I realize it's really... How do I do that? Something like that. That's better. Because that's really aggressive how I was just moving around there. Okay. So that's a nice little trade. And then he's actually sent the villagers back, which is absolutely huge. He's also getting the scouting down this side. Obelisks everywhere. There's a good group of monkeys. Not the best, but I mean, it's not a bad relic. And he's getting the value of the middle of the map here. Opponent's using a lot of Valors. But right now, he's done the damage. And the gather rate for the Atlanteans isn't the best compared to other civs, so if he just sits back, gets his upgrades, he'll be in a good spot. He's also going through Nephthys. So this is kind of like a semi-fast heroic, because he just wanted the Axeman out to deal with some of the units, and he sees that the opponent has loads of units, so you just got to back up. That's just nice and easy though, but we have the priest here to heal them up. We've got a second priest somewhere. Oh, he's still scouting. Okay, so he's scouted the second town centre, and we'll have to see what he does about that, whether he's going to siege that down, use some kind of ancestors on it or something. Or ancestors not on that, but on the economy surrounding it, just to maybe get some kills, maybe delay. So this is a nice monument here to stop something like the chaos power from the heroic age. So really strong god power for the Atlanteans. So obviously he's putting up a monument to the priests, so that doesn't happen. What he also could do is, if he wanted to just do this, is he could delete the back two, or at least the back one, and then do a little bit more over here so that he can spread more of this. Also, if your Pharaoh empowers it, you get an even bigger radius. It actually doubles, so it goes to something like the screen. It's absolutely huge. So we've got through Nephthys here, going for another scout. Obviously, technically, he's going to be behind if he stays just one town center versus the one town center, or versus the two town centers. So you kind of ball is in his court. But I think that's where I like to play. I like to play with the ball in my court kind of thing, rather than sitting back and waiting for everything to come to you. And also, he's got so much vision. Obviously, he needs to put more over here, but that's just because somebody noticed. So Anubites again having a little pop in, even just a few seconds of idle time. It definitely does something. And just some shots from the town centre, not really going to do much for the Anubites. Like I said earlier, so this is where you want at least a semi-fast heroic, so we can get the Migdal Stronghold up in the middle. Has a lot of defense here. Just nipping in with the Scorpion Men. Again, we've got the minions coming out here, which is what I said. Just do it on the economy. Look how many villagers he has here, and the snakes. So snakes have been nerfed a little bit, but he's basically just doing this to try and stop the wood gather rates. You can see that the opponents put some villagers inside the manor, but you can only get 2 in there now. So this is completely occupying the army, and then his small army can easily come in and do the damage, as it were. Scorpion men have been nerfed, but they're still very, very strong. And look, I mean, he's just completely stopped whatever advantage the opponent had with the second town center, the Kronos player. He's also using Prosperity on the back. So how many do we have here? Oh no, they're going to be up in the middle. So just doing that to get maybe just some more units out. What are we going for? We're going for more Scorpion Men and Camel Riders. This is what I like to do too. Scorpion Men, Camel Riders, and some Chariots is just so strong. I mean, I did steal that from watching one of the Mista's games when he played one early on. Camels are just so good, especially a combo with the Scorpion Men. So GMZs up through Hyperion. So this is what I was saying about with the Chaos. So if he uses it on an aggressive push, TheMista can just sit in this radius and be absolutely fine. Getting up a second monument would be really good idea. And look at this. He empowers it when he brings it back. This guy, he knows. He knows. look at the radius. I was actually like, it's like the whole screen basically. This has been buffed slightly to give more range. And when you empower it, I mean, look at it. You just got to make sure that your Pharaoh is close. So this is why he didn't delete the back ones, because he doesn't need to. If the enemy Kronos comes in, he just empowers the monument. GG. He can't use that broken god power, but he is getting another monument on the front. He's deleted the back one as well. It's just it's a really sick play, and then he's going to empower it so he can take a fight here, and the enemy can't use chaos. And if he hasn't seen this, we don't know if he had the line of sight for that. If he can't see it, he'll be wondering why he can't use it, and just waste a few seconds there, which could be really crucial. He's got a lot of camels out. Not sure what the enemy army was. Whether I did see some Kari Ballistas in this. Obviously, they're going to be good against those. But maybe just a couple of chariots. Maybe that's what he's getting now. Yeah, he's getting a couple of chariots out, just to snipe from range, and the Scorpion Men are all out as well. So we've got Nebti. So this is the one where it gives more damage. Yeah. That's one all-action damage. It's such a weird way of saying it, but more damage to heroes. So here we're just going to kind of do a slow push, and he is still within the radius, so the enemy Kronos can't use his Chaos God power. Also, he can't deconstruct the Migdals and everything else. So it's just such a good idea. We're just going to watch this slow push here, I think. I'm not sure what the enemy Kronos is really doing, if he's just sitting back. We've also got a second monument delete, and he's got the monument to the soldiers. It's just such a good play. Now, the enemy does have Satyrs, and Satyrs are extremely strong, and a few heroes in there too to deal with the Scorpion Men. But we have quite a lot of priests out for TheMista, so I think he should be absolutely fine. I think his army is really good point now. Obviously, the Kronos has been on the two town centers, so we still need to do some kind of push for TheMista. But he's been super restricted into his base. So on the Retold version of Gold Rush, I think you start with 2 gold mines, and then he will be having to come out. So maybe at that 14 to 15 minute mark is probably when he's going to need a second gold mine. So he needs to take a fight before then. This is a huge fight here. He can't use Chaos because of the monument to the soldiers, and Satyr's getting absolutely destroyed by the priest. Did he actually manage to use it? Oh no, it was just a kind of war cry from the units. And look at this, he's just absolutely hard winning the fight with the Camel Riders. Camel Riders so strong. Look at this, it's just completely overwhelming. And the priests there to take down the Satyrs. Isis and Set really have a good time against any myth units, and this is it. So this is just, I mean, that's the enemy Kronos' army just completely destroyed. Now he's going to head back, healing with the monument to the soldiers. So if the Pharaoh empowers that, you get a small amount of healing. He has 8 priests to heal as well. So an absolutely fine time. So we shouldn't really be able to see this if we're just watching from TheMista's perspective. But the enemy Kronos player is getting a lot of catapulties, which is the direct counter to Camel Riders. But we have some Axemen out. We have a few chariots. And obviously the myth units, if they're not heroes, going to absolutely destroy them. The score is very similar, because obviously because the Kronos player has a lot more villagers. But the value that you're getting here is insane, where hardly any of these died and they're getting healed up. Now, what the enemy player needs to do is take out the Pharaoh, so then the empowerment bonus stops. But it's going to be very difficult to get in. And this is where the priests are to defend. Obelisks coming up. Love it. Barracks for... What, look at the amount of Scorpion men. We're getting barracks out for more Axemen. And I really like the one siege tower just to kind of like slow push it. I think that's a really good play rather than getting too many now, because they have a lot less hack armor than they used to. So the enemy army does do well against the camels, but look at the priests just absolutely destroying the satyrs. And that is where the brunt of the damage will actually come from the enemy army, is mainly the satyrs. And just making sure that you micro the priests onto the satyrs is so strong. So he's getting out a couple more siege towers now, because obviously we have the front palace up. Now the enemy should be completely out of gold. This is almost 16 minutes, and yeah, the gold is out, and that is a victory for the Mista. I mean, this was just a clinical performance. It's just crazy. He was also getting the second town center too. But just because your opponent has gone 2 town centers doesn't mean you have to rush and kind of worry about it. And it's something that I do. I kind of panic and go, "Oh my god, they're well ahead of me." It takes a while to pay it off, and also they've spent so many more resources, especially food, on all of these extra villages, which you can just put into your army. And then he had all of these heavy camel riders. So this is something that I kind of want to start doing, is seeing a point of view of some of the strong players. If you like this sort of thing, then let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.